Okay, so today is July 13th, and here's a little garden update. So yesterday we had a big storm, and I ran outside and harvested some tomatoes that were starting to blush. Because if you have a blushing tomato or a ripe tomato and you get a lot of rain, it's probably gonna crack, especially if it's been dry for a little while. So I ran out and grabbed these guys. I'll go through a little bit of these varieties. This is a German pink. We haven't tried any of these yet. This is the German pink plant. And then we have, so this one, this one, this one, and this one. These are all of the 4th of July tomatoes. And then we have the fun size black crims. So black crims are this is one also, way bigger than this. I mean, this is extremely tiny. Black crims do have green shoulders. These guys are pretty light pink. They're usually darker. And then we have right here, Braveheart cherry tomato. We have some sun golds. And in here somewhere, check this tiny little guy out. This is a spoon tomato. Little tiny, cute little tomato. Okay, so we'll take a little walk through the garden. You can see here's the black crim. There are a couple more tomatoes blushing on that. I do see some like early blight on the tomatoes, tons of leaf spots, so don't mind that. They look kind of bad. We have some more black crims right here. It did have a really big truss of tomatoes right there, and as you can see, it broke off. It started to peel down the stem. It was so heavy with tomatoes. They were all green, and I had to take it off, so I have them sitting in the window. We'll see if they ripen. They probably won't taste very good because they didn't begin that blushing stage. Here's another nice black beauty. Some more black crims. And then I'm gonna say this is the Ananas Noir. Some nice sized tomatoes on that. Paul Robeson, the German pink. This is one of the biggest tomatoes that we have. Really excited about this guy. Another nice one at the top. We haven't found any hornworms this year, which is crazy to me. Every single year we find at least one. Watch, now I'll find one since I said that. It might look a little empty right here. I pulled up the volunteer tomato that was right there. It was just covered in leaf spot. It was terrible, like very terrible looking, so I pulled that up. There was some radishes here. I did harvest them, gave them to my friend. She loves radishes. I'm gonna grow some more towards fall, so they're a little bit less spicy. We have some cherry bomb peppers here. Have gotten some ripe ones off of this. And these guys, like usually peppers take a long time to ripen. Man, overnight or just like 24 hours, these guys ripen to bright red. Like probably tonight or in the morning, this guy right here will probably be bright red. And then we have the peperoncinis. As you can see, a lot of those are starting to ripen, which is actually what you don't want. You don't want peperoncinis to turn red because then they start to lose their flavor. So we'll have to harvest these guys. See these ones turning back here, there. A couple more in the back. And then we have the ghost pepper. Has a couple buds on it. Check out this gorgeous Tabasco pepper. A ton of little peppers on it. I can't wait till these start turning. It's gonna be a really beautiful plant. Zinnia, sunflower, skunk repellent, which has worked absolutely great this year. We haven't had it. Okay, never mind. Never mind. I was gonna say, we haven't had any skunks that tried to dig up my plants. But I can see right here, yes, they did dig up my ground cherry I just put in the ground. Wow. Well, I guess that's why they say that you can jinx yourself. So I'm gonna cover this guy up and then give him some water. Wow, that is... Who would have thought? I guess I spoke way too soon. Cute little butterfly. So we took out the zucchini that was here. There was 2 of them. Took out both of those. They were covered in squash bugs. They had vine borers. We did get 3 zucchinis off of them. But yeah, they were just covered. So I actually put the whole plant. I put some diatomaceous earth on the base of the stem. Put it in a trash bag. I put the leaves that had eggs on them in the trash bag also, so they all don't hatch and just infest my garden. You know, try to cut down on the population a little bit. I've also noticed that the skunks only dig up plants that are freshly planted. I don't know why that is, but I just planted this yesterday, last night, like in the evening, 6, 7 maybe in the evening. Just dug it up. Wow. And that's the only ground cherry we have. We have gladiolas, some petunias, marigolds. Check out this poblano. Tons of peppers on this. Tons of peppers on the Sugar Rush peach. Oh, and the little cayenne. There's a couple little peppers down on the bottom there on the little cayenne plant. I have the red Reuben basil. Check out how big these guys are. Look at that guy. Huge. This is probably like, man, 10, 11 ounces, maybe 12. All the Brandywine tomato plants that I have in here have the biggest tomatoes, I think. Besides that German pink back there. One of the biggest also. We have sugar baby watermelons. Here's this guy. Kajari melons. I did notice when I was on the other side looking at the tomatoes. Let me run over here real quick. I saw a Kajari melon hiding back here. So that is a Kajari melon. We'll actually get some this year. We had a good bit last year, but I hope we get a little bit more this year. Then another Black Beauty here. See all those tomatoes. Some up at the top. Another Kajari melon. These guys are like really, really, really small right now. The fruits on these guys. Then we have Cherokee Purple down there. You can see that stem is like hanging down. There's so many plants where the tomato truss is like hanging down. There's a watermelon that didn't get pollinated. Another one down here. I have this big guy. So here is another tomato truss that fell down. Just left it there. This is the Brandywine, the Berkeley tie-dye pink. And then we have this huge amaranth. This is the Love Lies Bleeding Amaranth. Check this out. So cool. Love this plant so much. Like I've said before, it's edible. It's like a grain. It's like quinoa. You can eat it, but you have to go through in my opinion. So much trouble to get the little grains out of these guys, so I just like to look at it. Back there we have a mortgage lifter. You can see some black cherry tomatoes starting to ripen. We have some tomatoes on this volunteer plant. Here's the poblano from this side. Look at all those peppers. We have a sunflower. Another sunflower here. It's getting a nice little bud on it. The dill is huge. Check that out. It's probably almost 5 foot tall. And then we have the golden sage. It looks like there's some eggs on this dandelion here. Wonder what these are. I like to look things up before I kill insects, because they might be beneficial. You never know. You know, what if these were like ladybug eggs or something? Would want to leave those, but I'll look that up. What lays eggs on dandelions? There's another red Reuben basil. Check out my spicy Cajun bell peppers. I have a couple little ones on there. A couple little ones that didn't ripen. Yeah, look at the terrible leaf spot on these tomatoes. It's just been really bad this year. Here's another poblano plant. Has a really big one on the bottom there. Another sunflower. These guys are really getting big. These are the mammoth Russian. I can tell from the green stems. See how these guys are green? And then if you look closely, this one has some red in it. That's usually how I know the difference between my red sunflowers and my regular, like, mammoth Russian sunflowers. Another little guy here. The lima beans. So I don't see any lima beans on this guy yet. It is vining up the sunflower. I don't know how long it takes for lima beans to form, but really excited about those. I planted some more sugar snap peas because they finally petered out. It was their time to go. Here's another volunteer tomato. Look at that one little tiny tomato there. Hopefully it gets a little bit more than that. Sweet basil, celosia, rosemary. I need to start harvesting some of the rosemary. Look at the calendula. Again, just harvested 2 days ago. An entire plate full of flowers from these guys. Also with the chamomile, I have like half a jar of chamomile, half a big jar of calendula petals, just the petals. And then I have the lavender in between here that I also need. Oh, it's starting to flower. Awesome. I have to harvest some lavender. And then we have blue cream berry. Yeah, the leaf spot this year is just unreal. Really, really bad. Check out all of the blue cream berry tomatoes on this guy. Next year we will definitely prune our cherry tomatoes so they can get a little bit more airflow. And then I'll make sure all of the clippings with the leaf spot get thrown in a bag or put way, way, way out in the woods so that it doesn't contaminate the rest of the garden. Here's another volunteer tomato. We have the sun golds. Check out all of those ripe tomatoes. And we have the moonflower vine. We have another blue cream berry tomato. My kitten wants to say hi. Hi, Evie. We actually found her close to the garden. So we found a little surprise one day when we were outside. Here is the spoon tomato. I have some blushing down here. You can see all these little tiny tomatoes, and look at the leaf spot. I've been needing to spray these plants with hydrogen peroxide, but I haven't yet because it's been raining and raining and raining. Yeah, I really need to do that. And then the black cherries, you can see those starting to ripen. Those are the Berkeley tie-dye pinks from this side. There's all of the black cherry tomatoes, and there is a ton all through the plant. Another sunflower. This is a volunteer down here. If I didn't say it, sweet basil. There's another poblano plant under there. And we have sweet banana pepper. Let's see, another poblano. This guy looks like he's struggling a little bit. It has a couple peppers on it, but nothing compared to the other three that we have. So we have the indigo sun cherry tomato. So me and my husband, we've tried like 3 of these so far, and they just have absolutely no flavor at all whatsoever. It's like biting into tomato texture without any flavor at all. So, and they were ripe. Like this one, I could pick that one right now. I mean, they seem fully ripe. Just no flavor, which sucks. Like I said before, every time I have a beautiful tomato, I end up not liking it. Besides the Black Beauty. I really do like the Black Beauties. Then we have the black strawberry. I can't believe how big these guys are. Really big cherry tomato. Huge. And then back here you can see the Braveheart tomato. There's some more. This is another black cherry, and this stem fell down also. And then we have more black strawberries. Can't wait for these guys. I bet I'm not gonna like them, but they're still pretty to look at. And then the jalapeno has some cracking on it down there, but that's fine with peppers. That's normal. And then, of course, all the marigolds. Another volunteer tomato. Another moonflower. I can't wait until these guys, the moonflower vine, comes up and meets at the top and then makes these big, huge, giant white moonflowers. It's so pretty. I did the same thing last year. And let's see. Oh, check how big these Brandywine tomatoes are. These guys are huge. This is probably a good 9 ounces. More terrible leaf spot. More Kajari melons. More Sugar Baby watermelons. There's a little guy right here. Big guy right here. Another little one. And yeah, just look at the terrible diseased leaves on the tomatoes. Like I said, I won't leave it in the grass. I'll take it back in the woods or put it in a bag so it doesn't spread. Here's another Sugar Baby watermelon. We have some more at the bottom here. This looks like it didn't get pollinated. Yeah. When they start sinking in like that and they look like, I don't know, emaciated, dried out, that means it didn't get pollined, and throw it out, unfortunately. But we're still going to have a ton of watermelon now. This is Paul Robeson. So this is the plant. Actually, all of these plants now are dying. This is the contaminated bed. This is the Paul Robeson. It looks like they are ripening though. It doesn't seem like the melons are affected. This tomato seems to be doing fine for now. But yeah, the melons, sunflowers, fine. I planted some more sunflower seeds right here. I planted some more sunflower seeds on that side. I'm just trying to leach out whatever is in this bed. And then in the fall, I'm going to plant a bunch more flowers and maybe some cabbage, kale and stuff like that in this bed just to leach out whatever is in there. And the peppers aren't bothered by it. I mean, look at these guys. Tons of peppers. This is a Sugar Rush peach. Tons on this side. And then we have the 4th of July tomato. You can see the big sunflower. That was a volunteer that I left there, and I'm glad that I did, so that it can help pull some of that contamination out of the soil. This is another Paul Robeson. This is beginning to die. See, this is what's happening to every tomato plant in this bed. It just gets stunted, and then it starts to die off like this. It gets crispy, and it's gone. So, but it does have a lot of tomatoes on the bottom, and I am going to eat these tomatoes. I'm sure whatever is in the soil, herbicides, something like that, is probably the same thing that's covered on the produce at the grocery store. So, you know, at the grocery store you get the GMO, the herbicides, the Roundup, all of that. So what's the difference really? At least it's in my own bed. Then we have more 4th of July tomatoes, and then these massive, now this plant seems to be doing fine. This is the only plant really left in this bed that's not like starting to peter out with damage. Let me see if I can move this. Look at those. These guys are huge. See how big just one of those are? And there's 4 on that truss right there. And then there's another one hanging there. Can't wait for those. It looks like the Paul Robesons are blushing. And then 4th of July. And then we have the zinnias that I planted. If you remember that baking tray experiment I did, here are the zinnias from that. See another one down there, another one down there. These were the candy cane mix. If you can see, if my camera will actually zoom in, you get up really close, you can see the striping. But then the other ones just look like this. And they're not as big as I wanted. I like the zinnias that are really, really huge. So what I'll do is, if you can see this, here's the morning glory I still haven't taken off. If you can see, just like basil, how you have a main stem here and then these 2 stems. So if I would cut this, or I can cut it right here too. If I would cut this right here, then these 2 guys would take off, make some flowers, and make this zinnia plant much bushier than if I were to leave the big stalk on. So that's what I'm going to do with those. Here's the mint, the milkweed, the sunflower getting big back here, right here. And this massive gal right there, that's an Autumn Beauty or red velvet. We'll see. And then we have my adorable little pollinator garden. My echinacea is getting pretty big. I planted that from seed in June of 2021. And as you can see, Still no blooms. That's how long it takes if you want to plant purple coneflower or echinacea from seed. Just buy a plant. Just save yourself some time, a year or two, and go buy a plant. I will next time if I ever want any more of those. The same with lavender. I planted lavender the same exact time as my coneflower, and it's still, you just saw barely one little tiny bloom. So yeah, like rosemary, lavender, echinacea, something that takes a long time to get established. You will save money if you start it from seed, but it takes forever. And once this plant flowers, all of the trouble that I've done to get this, I will guard this. This will be the queen of the garden. If I can get that thing to bloom. So we have the vinca around there, we got the apricot, and then the dark pink, the plum petunias, the yarrow back there, star sister marigold, dahlias, I'm sorry. And this morning glory that I haven't pulled up yet. Then we have the tree of hell. Oh, that's another thing I'll go ahead and say. See these little palm tree looking, so that's the tree of hell. It's actually called the tree of heaven. It is a weed. I battle it in my garden every single day. It's a major problem. It also sends out a poison and a toxin in the soil and can kill your plants. Very invasive because it kills all of the native plants around it. So I thought that this was the parent plant, and then I was thinking that's just too small to be making, you know, all of these. If you can see the yard right next to me, do you see all of the tree of heaven, tree of hell, as I call it? All those little bright green things are the tree of hell. So I looked up in the tree line the other day. There is the parent. How did I miss this? I don't know. But check this out. This thing is huge. I think it was brought over in the 1800s. People really liked it because it looked like exotic with the palm tree looking type leaves. And then now it has just taken over everything, along with the honeysuckle. You can see all of that. The honeysuckle is so invasive around here. And then I found this crazy plant. If you just look out in your backyard, you can find so many crazy things. So check this out. This vine right here, I looked it up, did some research. You can see these. I thought it was some type of morning glory, but it's actually a type of milkweed. Look at that. So this is the seed pod. It looks like a really spiky pickle. Yeah, so this is a dog bane. It's in the milkweed family. Yeah, just growing here on the fence. Really, really wild. I've seen people sell these seeds, so people actually grow them on purpose. So thought that was cool. But that is the garden tour for July 13th. And when we get some more ripe tomatoes, I will do another little update. Oh, and I forgot to talk about the spaghetti squash. You can see those two big guys right there. Yeah, hopefully a couple days they'll be ripened. But if there's any more ripe tomatoes, I'll definitely do a video and show you what everything looks like.